Alright guys, it's been a while. We're back with another teardown of an NV4500. This is actually going to be really interesting because this NV4500 was built by, or should I say it was sold by a local parts store. I think this is actually an Oreilly's sale. So I don't think that there's anybody on Oreilly's payroll that's actually building these transmissions. I'm sure they've outsourced it to a third party. But either way, we're going to see what a parts store NV4500 looks like on the inside. So we're going to start a teardown now. You ready, Zach?
Yeah.
Let's do it. So we've already busted some of these loose, but we have not disassembled anything at all. And our initial impressions, not super great, not exactly terrible, but not great. So they reused the tail housing hardware, which is totally fine, but it's super rusty. They didn't clean it up at all. There's a lot of stuff on the threads here. It's got that really stinky RTV that like your grandpa used to use. Not a huge fan, but hey. So, it is full of ATF. This is an aluminum housing, was reused, which is normal. But I thought it was kind of interesting that... I'm going to come over to the front here. Thought it was kind of interesting that they gouged the heck out of these tail housing, or this tail housing, trying to get a stuck bolt off. Looks like they did a weld repair on this side, and not a bad job cleaning though. But this is a factory aluminum one. We're gonna chuck this in the garbage. So. A typical reused top cover. Looks like they did treat the sealing surfaces pretty good. New plastics, so far so good, not terrible. It is just a reused factory housing. Lots of paint overspray, which, you know, that, whatever, not a big deal. Real quick, Zach, can I turn it this way? Yeah. We're gonna see, it does look like an aftermarket shaft. It's not an OEM. It's probably going to be a full spline. It does have a reused fifth gear, but it does have the good split washer system, a concave washer, and then the nut looks new. We don't have any like rogue stake marks anywhere. Feels okay. Go for it, Zach. You try to turn a little bit so they can see you, so you can see what you're doing.
Yeah.
So this one did come with a new. Go ahead. This one did come with a new input shaft. That's good, or seemingly a new input. Stakes out?
There was none.
There were no stakes?
Yeah,
or there were
the
no
brass ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were gone.
No set screws?
No set screws.
Okay.
They filled the holes with RTV.
Alright. So I don't think that's the end of the world because I really don't think that those do much, but it is kind of weird that they would fill them with RGB. I don't know why they would do that. So it looks like the 5th gear nut was on pretty good. So I don't think we would have had any 5th gear nut issues, at least not initially. As far as longevity, you know, that could be anybody's guess. There's no way for us to say like, yeah, it would have failed at this mileage or that mileage or not at all. But, you know, I'll be honest, our standards aren't super high. We get some in here that we could take off by hand.
Almost there.
Appears to have a new input retainer. The RTV job is not terrible.
Everyone's favorite part of the video.
I'm going to edit a lot of this out, probably. So we're not just watching me struggle.
I thought I was just gonna hit right off.
I kind of did too.
I was gonna smack it. I was gonna go think.
Let's turn it so the camera can see it a little bit. Got her loose. Okay, there's the nut. Good split washer system. So, yeah, this is a well-used factory 5th gear. Well, maybe not a factory. I don't know if I see any markings. Possibly factory 5th gear. We never reuse overdrive gears. We always replace them. This is an apparently new full spline main, but you know, this isn't a super tight fit on here. So yeah, that's a no-go. There wasn't even any like sleeve retainer or anything on it, so that's no good. All right, Zach, let's. You got a punch?
Yes.
Okay. Is that enough room?
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to check end play before we get too far, or before we go any further than 50 here. Pry bar?
Drawer.
Okay.
Does seem to have a new clutch cone.
It sure does. Yeah, I'm really glad to see that. We replace all the clutch cones, or seems like the overwhelming majority. We do attempt to save the input if it's at all salvageable. I don't know where they got this one, but it does seem new. That's good. So we got a really dirty 5th gear on the counter shaft. Yeah. I think this might be an OEM gear. Ugh, it is dirty. Look at how dirty it is. Look at all this. Holy smokes. Yeah, that thing is haggard. Oh man, so filthy. But the teeth are all in good shape. I mean, it's a serviceable gear at least. Ooh. You show that to the camera. That's about good. That thrust face has got a big gouge in it. Never mind. I take it back. Not serviceable. This is a used aftermarket slider. There is some gunk inside. But it's in excellent shape, so that's good. Fifth gear would have at least been a good fit for a while. Real quick. I'm seeing, like, do you see this, Zach? There's like stuff in between the gear teeth. I think it's RTV. I thought it was a piece of gear. Yeah, see, there's more. Did I lose it? Yeah, it's RTV. It's great RTV. Well, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that maybe it just came loose when we were taking the top off. Let's check in play real quick.
This way or that way?
Huh?
Transmission that way or transmission this way?
Yeah, whatever. I guess it doesn't really matter. I don't necessarily know how well we're gonna do it. Here you go. I'll just hold it, and you can do the thing.
We'll start with main shell.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna, before we go any farther, we're gonna take an end play measurement, just to kind of see, you know, how they set it up. This isn't normally where we do our end play measurements, so I'm having to hold this on our other table. We have a spot for it. So, looks like it's not terrible. So the spec is 2 to 6 thousandths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
Yeah. So end play spec from the get is about 5 thousandths. It is in spec, which is good. You know, I was half expecting to see it preloaded, but so normally with new bearings on a rebuild, you kind of like to set them up a little bit tight, because with wear, you know, during break-in and getting a few thousand miles on them, the end play will relax a little bit. So this 5 thousandths probably would have ended up more like 8 at least, depending on what brand of bearings were used. And you know, what kind of oil, like how well it's taken care of. So 5 thousandths is too much for us to set up. We definitely go to the tighter side of things. What's it looking like? So now we're doing a measurement on the counter shaft. 1, 2. Somewhere around 2. That's actually pretty good. I'm happy to see that. I think the counter shaft side would have survived quite well. Main shaft side, though, we definitely like to see them a lot tighter than that. But that's okay. You want to take that one down? I'll take this one.
Oh, breaking loose.
Oh, that's 9/16. Oh, you got the 13th. Right? So, one thing I'm noticing is that there's not really any like Loctite on this, but the threads have got ATF in them. Are you noticing any Loctite?
No. So I did use some, yeah.
good shims, good quality shims. I like it. Yeah, I'm not seeing any. I'm not seeing any Loctite and yeah. Maybe tie right here. There we go. So it is a typical Koyo kit. Ah. It is a new berry, that's cool. Or at least a new race. So we do have a factory input clutch cone, which, like I said, we try to do as well, so it's not necessarily a bad call. This one seems okay. The leading edge, I'm not a super huge fan of. I'll probably replace it. But it wasn't a bad call to keep. I mean, there's the smooth synchronizer surface. Yeah, we'll replace it. Just the leading edge of this is no good. It's appear to have a new fiber synchronizer in the brass shell. That's odd. This input shaft is unmarked. It kind of looks like they put it in a lathe and just turned it, actually.
That's what I was thinking.
Because look, I think that's what they did.
I saw those lines down it.
I think it's turned because this all appears new and this appears new. But there's wear on the splines. It's definitely been driven by a clutch before. And the sealing surface has had a seal ride on it for some time. I think they just turned it down to make it look new. That's hilarious. Yeah, because these gear teeth are definitely used. Without question. There's very obvious wear. Which isn't bad. Again, it's not bad, but why would they turn this? I don't understand that at all. And again, yeah, this input shaft, the thrust face has got a big ding in it. Not a big ding, it's a small ding, but it's a ding nonetheless. Weird. It's such a weird thing to spend time on. Very nice shaped input retainer. I actually don't, I think it's new, but I'm not quite sure. Good new seal. So it looks like they were doing the right things for the most part. Three-four sliders in okay shape, but good lord, it's filthy. This is just full of black stuff. Holy crap. I hope that's coming across the camera. It's like they didn't clean that at all. Will this come off? Nope. Gonna get the big puller. Okay, well, while Zach's gathering the big puller, take a look at the counter shaft. You know, you can move that over there to like where the gun is, I guess. This counter shaft's really dirty. But it's got smooth surfaces. The teeth have been touched up.
I saw that when I took it out.
Yeah, this is a factory counter shaft. You can tell by the markings here on the end. You can see the discoloration. It's like a brown color right here. This thing got hot at some point. And then they touched up the teeth like with some kind of a scuff pad or something. I don't know, or like a roll-lock disc. These counter shafts are cheap enough that it probably costs them more time and labor than just replacing the part. Could you press off the reverse gear and reverse bearing as well?
They use that blue goo stuff.
So this is what. Here, watch out. So this is what I was kind of thinking. This bearing was never replaced on this counter shaft. You do have to have a specialty tool to get underneath it and get around the counter shaft. It's these Miller part numbers. They have a tapered conical type at the bottom to get in there and under the bearing. So, oops. These have all got coil bearings and races in it. That's what the typical aftermarket kits are. This is the only bearing that's different, and it is a Timken. And when I pulled it off, it has the typical gear oil smell that we get when we tear these down when they've been on the road forever. This bearing was never taken off and never replaced. Oops, no. And you can tell from all the grime that's under here. It kind of surprises me they took that much time to treat these gear teeth for whatever reason and then wouldn't change the bearing. It's frustrating. You can see, yep, here's new. So they used a rebuild kit. They even replaced the idler. That is a Zambroda idler. That's good. I like Zambroda stuff. And they did put a small parts kit in it. Well, I take that back. They did not. There is black goop inside of these plastic washers. And when they come out, when they come out of the small parts kit, that's the color they are versus this one, and it has black deposits. These, maybe they didn't put a small parts kit in it. That would be frustrating. So let's check this case out. Not seeing any cracks. It looks well prepared though, right? I mean, so like they put in work. The case is very clean. There's already metal on in the bottom now. Like, see that?
Yeah.
Like glitter. Can you, while I'm starting to tear that down, can you pop this cap off and get this race out of here? Because they didn't replace the bearing on that. I want to see if they did the race at least.
No new needle bearings.
Yeah, oh. Yep, that is a reused, vintage reverse needle bearing. Ugh. Why does it look like this?
I think they put the blue goo on the synchros.
I think you might be right.
I think, yeah.
That's odd. Yeah, looks like they did put something on there. Okay. So.
Recoil race.
Okay. So they did replace the race, but just not the bearing. So this spacer is an OEM. And this big, gigantic third gear snap ring was reused. And that is a no-no. It was flipped over. Here you go, see if you can get it onto the opposite side. It was flipped over. And for those that don't know, snap rings have a taper on the portion where you actually hook your snap ring pliers, and so now they're backwards. This is going to be fun. Got it. Yeah, that is a flipped over third gear snap ring. That is no bueno. That's shame on you, Oreilly's third party person. A new reverse clutch cone, which is good. It does have assembly goo on it. All around in here. It's so dumb. First gear's not my favorite. Can you show the camera closer to the stupidity? So all those teeth are kind of blunted over. Did you take the third gear off? Okay, so they didn't. So on your between second and third gear here, there's a snap ring, and there's a little tiny piece that will slide. It's like a little shim, but it's like a small washer that goes over it to keep your needle bearing from digging into the snap ring. And they didn't use one here. And I'm not seeing any. Yeah, I don't know. I think this might have been replaced. This looks like they might have done some needle bearings. So this main shaft is a Zumbrota main shaft. Really like those. We used those for a long time before we ended up at our current supplier, just for logistical reasons. Our current supplier is equivalent in strength and fitment. Third gear washer is good. Anti-rotation pin is in place. Second gear, not my favorite. I'll show them same thing. These, yeah, I don't know. I can't tell if these were just like cleaned or yeah, I don't know, man. It's alright, those are reused anyway. So it looks like we got a reused inner, which is fine. Not a very good cleaning job, but it appears to be in good shape. We'll be able to reuse it. A new synchro. A new outer synchro, so that's cool. Looks like the 1-2 slider. Sorry, I'm all slippery. Everything's got goo on it. The 1-2 slider is not my favorite, but it's not terrible.
Looks like it's packed full of grime.
It's just filthy. This is so gross. Another new outer, which is good. New synchro. And then this might be a repop one. Chunk of RTV in there. But in good shape. So the synchronizers are okay. The shaft is a new shaft, so that's cool. We skipped over the 3/4 hubs. Let's check that out.
And reverse.
And reverse, thank you. This is filthy. They didn't even attempt to clean this. It's like got surface rust and everything on it. It is reusable, but good lord. So awful. New synchro. Alright, third gear is terrible. Third gear is bad. I would never ever use this. There's so much blue goo. You want to show them the teeth on the camera there? Whew. Yeah, those teeth are not good. So we do have a new reverse gear. Sorry, the camera shut off, so we're starting back up again. So we got a new reverse gear, which is cool. It's dated 22. So the slider, on the other hand, is just disgusting. Like, they didn't even try to clean this. Ugh. And that's just on the outside. Slider's in good shape. We'll be able to reuse it, but why not? Why would they not try to clean it? I don't know. Okay, so that pretty much concludes our teardown. Did I miss anything, Zach? The inside of the case is pretty clean. I'm trying to show that. So they did prepare the case well. They did prepare the outside of the case well. There was lots of good things, but this isn't a. This was a rebuild that had cost effectiveness as the priority. Very clearly, they skipped over a few things. We are not going to reuse this counter shaft. We'll probably reuse this main shaft. We'll end up replacing third gear, fifth gear, probably one or two of the sliders. First and second gear, maybe. The input shaft, definitely. So there's a lot of stuff that we're going to do differently, as well as all small parts and stuff like that. This transmission, I unboxed this from the crate. The customer, this was their second one that they warranted. The customer is the owner of a very prominent diesel company in the area that makes fuelie things. And he wanted to bring it here and have us just start over with it. So this is the unit that he brought. It was sealed in the crate with all their labels and stuff. I cut the banding and the plastic. I pulled it out and I put it on the table. I made no changes to it before taking it out. This was sourced from Oreilly's. Again, I doubt Oreilly's is doing any wrench turning. I'm sure this was a third-party company, you know, like Jasper or Weller Truck or something like that. I know they do a lot of building for other companies, so this is probably somebody like that. And it's kind of unfortunate to see some of the corners that were cut. So we're going to be putting a cast iron tail housing, new input shaft, the gears I listed, small parts kit. We're going to replace the input clutch cone, and the fifth gear on the counter shaft, fifth gear on the main shaft, third gear for sure. We're going to get this thing 100% perfect to last many, many years. So thanks for watching, guys. Hit like, comment, subscribe, and check us out at lrgdiesel.com. Thanks.